Elizabeth here, Purpose and Beyond. Welcome back to the channel and to my space. I'm not sure if you can get a good view behind me, but I'm actually on my 5th Alaskan cruise. Yeah, that's right. I took another trip to Alaska this past week. Actually, I'm on the cruise right now filming this intro. I thought, what better way to do this than while I'm actually on the cruise? Now, you guys know that I've been to Alaska before, and I have another video of Alaska where I did a more extensive video of my time in Alaska and also provided you some tips. Now, for this video, I will provide you some additional tips because I went to Alaska this time in May. A little different than when you're going in the summertime. So I'll have a few extra tips for you and just give you a summary of a shorter clip of my time in Alaska this time, really abbreviated. But anyway, guys, I want to ask you, because I always forget, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And I will see you guys again soon, if the Lord says the same. Bye now. Okay, guys, so here we go. I'm going to be narrating this portion of the video because I took random video for this cruise. But guys, I am so excited to be embarking on this 7-day Alaskan cruise. I don't know, 2024 has been a rough year, so by this time I was in so much need to be on the water, on a cruise, on my favorite class of ship, which is the Quantum class. This particular ship is the Ovations ship. Now, I've been on 4 of the 5 cruise ships, except for the Spectrum in this class, which tends to stay in Asia. But I just love this class of ships, which brings me to my first tip that I want to share with you guys. I want to share with you about your ship selection, deck selection, and balcony selection. That's a tip. Some of this is not Alaska related, but you do want to be mindful of these things when you're planning your cruise. So for ship selection, guys, if you're a person that just wants to go on the cruise and relax, and you're not too worried about the different activities that you can engage in, you just want to go to dinner, you want to play some of the trivia games that they have, and you're fine with that, maybe get in the sauna or the pool, then it's okay if you go with the smaller ship. But if you like to enjoy any of the other activities like the flow rider, this particular class of ship I love because it has bumper cars and it has the North Star 360, which you will see a little bit later. And it has the wonderful venue aboard the ship called 270, which I love because it gives you a 270-degree view of the water. I'd love to go to that spot, get in my little corner, stare at the water all day, either read, pray, just relax, listen to all the activities that may be going on behind me. But this is why I love this ship, because it has the perfect amenities that I so enjoy. So when you're scheduling your cruise, that's going to be my first tip for you, is to pay attention to the ship selection, the deck selection, because for the deck, you want to stay away from deck 6. If money is your value, then avoid deck 6. Or if money is not your value, then avoid deck 6, because deck 6 is where the lifeboats are, and that's going to really deck 5 and deck 6. You're going to have an obstructed view if you have a balcony. Unless you're an inside cabin, then it won't matter anyway. But be mindful of that, of the deck that you're on, because I want to be as close to the water as I can, but above the lifeboats, I like to get around deck 9 and 10. Those are my sweet spots, decks 9 and 10. You also want to be mindful of where you are on the ship. If you're at the forward end of the ship or aft. If you're at the aft, be mindful that it tends to be noisy back there depending on the deck that you're on with the restaurants. If you're forward, just know you're going to feel the water a little bit more. That's where I like to be, because I actually happen to love the water rocking me to sleep. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. As soon as you get on the ship, you want to go in and make your reservations at the specialty restaurants for the duration of the cruise. If you buy vouchers for specialty restaurants, you can go to the first restaurant and make all of the reservations for all of the other restaurants that you're going to for the duration of the cruise. Now, they only allow you to do that on the first day. After that, you have to go to the restaurant where your voucher is held. Now, this is what I do. One of the reasons you want to do that is because you want to make sure that you have the selection of the best time that you prefer, because you're not the only one who has purchased a voucher. And so other people are going to be going, and the particular time, it may conflict with an activity that you want to participate in. So if you're scheduling all of your calendar out, you're looking at the activities and you're scheduling when you can go to lunch or when you prefer to go to lunch, my recommendation is to go on and make your reservations at those restaurants as soon as you get on the ship. That's a recommendation for, and also for the specialty, for the regular dining, your main dining. Even if you do not have specialty dining reservations, keep in mind that for the main dining, there's still going to be a lot of people on an Alaskan cruise. And so for your group or your party, if you prefer a window, then you want to get down to the main dining hall. Make sure that you not only have your dining time, that you're going to be there every night, but select a table and let the maitre d's know that you want a table for your group near the window. And once you select that table, that's going to be your table for the duration of the cruise. So recommendation number 2 is go on the ship and make arrangements and reservations for all of your dinner reservations, where you're talking about specialty reservations or the main dining hall. Now here, you just see me at my favorite restaurant, which is Chops Grill. This is one of the venues that I love to go to. For this cruise, I did not even go into the main dining hall. I buy a few nights dinner specialty dining reservations, and then sometimes I don't want to eat, so I don't want to force myself to do that. One of the recommendations I gave you before was about buying the unlimited dining package, which gave you meals every night at a specialty restaurant. But because I don't want to have to force myself to eat that much, then I don't buy the unlimited anymore. Which brings me to tip number 3. Tip number 3, guys, you want to make sure that when you're on an Alaskan cruise, if there's any onboard activities that you see that you want to participate in that cost money, you want to make sure you go in and you pre-purchase those ahead of time, and you want to make sure that you get the date and the time that you want to participate in that activity. Because on some days, the cost for these activities are more. For example, for this North Star 360, to participate in that ride on a cruise day, like going through the glaciers, it was quite a bit more expensive. So that's another thing that you want to go and reserve and make sure you have the time that you want before you go on the cruise or as soon as you get on the cruise. Now, let's talk about tip number 4 is shopping. What can you expect to find in Alaska when you cruise? One of the things that you're going to find is a lot of jewelry, a lot of carvings made out of jade. If you're looking for jade jewelry of any type, just know that you're going to be able to find that when you get to Alaska. The other thing you're going to find is a lot of carving and houseware items, like these beautiful bowls that you see, and they were multiple thousands of dollars, but they were so beautiful, carved out of animal bones or whatever that is, and other minerals from the mountains around that they carve out. Another thing that you find is like these stalactite carvings that you'll see there, but just so beautiful. I really wanted those stalactite trees that they made. Oh, it was so beautiful. Even the small one was very, very expensive, guys. But, who talks about money? Because if it's something that you really want, you throw that out the window. I guess I didn't really want it. The next thing is, guys, the glass carvings you see there, it looks like ice, and you can see it looks like fish and whales and dolphins coming up out of the water. Those were just so beautiful. If you want to see that kind of unique carving, that kind of thing, just expect that you're going to be able to find that in Alaska. Everything is made right there. The third thing that you're going to find, just know that if you're looking for fur, if you're in the market for fur or any type of jacket combined with fur, leathers, it just anything, knits, anything combined with fur, full fur coats, jackets, vests, whatever you're looking for. Here you see these wonderful drapes that they have with the fur, just beautiful. Things were so beautiful. This is what you're going to find when you go to Alaska. All types of beautiful hats and gloves. Now for this particular cruise, I was actually looking for some additional leather gloves. Last year when I went, I bought black gloves that were trimmed in mink, and I absolutely love them, and I use them all winter. And here again, look at these beautiful jackets that you will be able to find when you go to Alaska. But I was happened to look for some gloves. This time I wanted some brown gloves because we don't tend to wear coats here. You wear a jacket. If it gets really cold, you wear gloves. I don't have heated steering wheel in my car, so I like to have on the gloves because some reason now my hands tend to stay cool. But I really wanted to find some gloves this year, and that's what I was looking to buy, hoping to find at the great price. Now, tip number 4, what I'm going to tell you is do not buy at the first place that you go to. You want to shop around at the different shops and price the item that you're looking for, because there will be many times you'll stop at the first place, you'll go to the second or third place and see that that item is on sale. And what a lot of the vendors doing now, the shop owners, they know you're going to be shopping. They'll tell you that it's going to be a fee to restock, or they'll say there's no returns. So you want to shop around first before you stop at the first place or make your purchase at the first place. Look at a couple places. And then you can also wait until you go to another port and see if you see that item for a different price. Now, if you don't want to take that chance, and it's an item that you see that it is exactly what you want, it is exactly what you've been looking for, it checks all the boxes are for you, then go ahead and make that purchase there. Because if you go to the other ports and you don't see it, or let's say it's lower cost or even higher cost, at least you know you have the item and you still won't be so disappointed, because at that point, you know, getting for a lower price is kind of a crapshoot. So go ahead and get the item if you find that it is really what you want and it checks all your boxes. But I will say to you that things tend to get more expensive as you go to the other ports. The first port that we went to was Sitka. Now, there's not a lot of shops in Sitka, and so things were maybe a little bit less expensive. And then once you go to Skagway, and also you may not find as much in Sitka as you're going to find in Skagway and Juneau. So as size-wise, you have Sitka, you have Juneau, and then Skagway. I can only talk about those because that was the itinerary for my ship. Although I have been to Ketchikan before, and I think it's a little larger too. I've been there before, but it wasn't on my itinerary for this particular sailing. In fact, it's been a while since I've been to Ketchikan. But what I'll say is that Juneau tends to be, there's a lot more shops in Juneau than there are in Skagway, and then a lot more in Skagway than there are in Sitka. So just keep that in mind. More selection tends to be, maybe there's more different selection, but also you're going to be maybe find better deals or pricing. So because in Skagway, there's more shops, there's more competition. Now, the other thing that you're going to find there, just keep in mind, jewelry. Any types of jewelry. You know, if you're on a cruise, you know they have jewelry shops there. Just keep that in mind. You're going to be able to find that. All right, tip number 5. dress, what to wear when you go to Alaska. You can see it's raining here. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you, if you're going to Alaska in April, May, and early June, just be prepared for the rain. There are many venues and shops there where you can buy those little light ponchos just to put on and off. Coming from the Northwest, we don't tend to wear heavy coats. We would just wear light jackets, and that's what I took on my cruise. I could either tie it around my waist or roll it up and put it in my small backpack that I was wearing. And I'm saying it's more like a purse, very small. But you just want to have something that you can put on and off. The first part of the cruise, it was rainy and very cold. We had a beautiful day in Juneau and a beautiful day in no, not in Skagway, but in Juneau, we had a beautiful day. It was very warm in Juneau. And so, but the rest of the time it was very cold. So going those months, April, May, you want to make sure that you have on some warm clothes. You want to make sure that you have a warm jacket. That's just my recommendation. Also to wear layers. That's my recommendation for you, is what to wear. Dress warmly during those months. Also keep in mind that if you purchase a balcony room, just know it's going to be very, very cold during this time of year, and you may not get out on the balcony and just enjoy this beautiful view that you see. And I'm telling you, this was going through Endicott Arms, Dawes Glacier. Be prepared for the sweeping, beautiful views that you get on the Alaskan Cruise. That's all I can tell you about that. When we were just going through and you see a few of the icebergs, the most beautiful side of the country you have ever seen. Beautiful. So be prepared for that. Just know that it's very cold on the balcony. I love to have a balcony, but it was just too cold for me. I thought, do I put on a lot of clothes? You just couldn't do it because the hawk, it was just too cold. The sun was out this day, thank goodness, but it was still just so cold there. Keep that in mind if you are if you're considering a balcony room. I mean, for me, I just left my windows open. I enjoyed the balcony. I just left my windows open. And then I could sit out there on port days. Once we were in port and I had gone to do my excursions and I was back in my room for the evening, I could sit out on the balcony at that point because, you weren't moving. So it wasn't as cold. But just keep that in mind when you're planning your Alaskan cruise. All right, guys, tip number 6. For tip number 6, guys, I will just tell you about excursions and what to expect. The first thing I'll tell you is just remember that on excursion days, when the ship arrives, your eating venues wherever you can eat free on the ship, they tend to open earlier on excursion days because they know everyone is trying to get out and go and catch their shuttle to go and do their excursion. So know that your eating venues are going to open early, and know that everyone is going to be trying to go at the same time. So it's going to be crowded. So most of the time the breakfast venues will be open before you actually dock. So you'll be able to go in early, get yourself a seat, and just watch by the window as you're sailing into your port. That's very important. If you're a breakfast eater and you need to make sure that you get something, if you have to take medication before you go on your excursion, just know that you want to be up and in those eating venues early that morning. The next thing I'll tell you about the excursions As you were seeing earlier when we were in Sitka and I was just walking around, I was exploring on my own. Some of the places, Sitka is a smaller place. So while you can do excursions, but if you just want to kind of do on your own, you can, because one of the things you can do is go hiking in the Tongass National Park. Now, the Tongass National Park is even part of the Mendenhall Glacier where you see we are now. That is the largest national park in the United States. And we were in Sitka, we were in Skagway, and this day in Juneau. The Tongass National Park expands all of those three islands. So it is humongous. So you can explore some things on your own, doing the shops, exploring that. You can do that. There's a free shuttle when you're in Sitka that will take you from the ship port to into downtown Sitka. Free shuttles, that's great. And there's all these little city tours that you can do, streetcar, that are relatively inexpensive. One of the other things I'll tell you about in excursions are, now I know you've heard and I've heard as well, don't bother with the vendors who are there on the island. Get your excursions or pay for your excursions through the ship line, because you want to make sure you're back at the dock in time. You're back to the port in time, because you don't want to get left. Listen, many of those vendors who are doing those excursions are the same people that the cruise line is going through. I'll give you an example in Skagway. When you go to Skagway, one of the excursions that you have to do is the White Pass train ride through the Cascades and the mountain. If you want a close-up scenic view of the most beautiful countryside, you want to go and do the White Pass train ride. But here's the tip. Don't purchase it through the cruise line. When you get into Skagway, you follow the crowd that's going to the train station and you buy your ticket directly from the train station. The train is going to have a lot of people from the cruise on there when you ride. So when you go, you're all going to get back at the same time, and you will have an opportunity to then go and walk around Skagway in the town of Skagway. When you get to Skagway, also what you want to do, you want to get crab legs when you go to Skagway. There's crab legs in Juneau as well. But those are the two places where you want to get off and have your king crab legs, just for example. So this particular day, I had done the Mendenhall Glacier, as you saw, Mendenhall Glacier and Salmon Bake. And here I am at the Salmon Bake, the tour of the glacier. That was Mendenhall Glacier. Once that was done, I went to the Salmon Bake, which was actually really good. Guys, if I recommend an excursion and it's really reasonable, you want to do the Mendenhall Glacier with the Salmon Bake. That was much more reasonable, and I got to walk around and take my photos rather than paying multiple hundreds of dollars and over thousands of dollars to go on a helicopter ride or to have a guided tour. So I did that on my own. You want to do that. The other thing I'll tell you want to do is make sure you take a whale watching. If you can afford it, they're going to be from $300, some more expensive, but find the cheapest one and go on a whale watching excursion. Those are just a few that I will recommend. And so here, guys, in wrapping up the video, a couple of more things that I wanted to share with you. This was the hoodie that I made for my cruise. Now, I bought the hoodie from Hobby Lobby. I came home and created this design from my Creek Cut machine and made this hoodie for myself. And it says that if I go, I'm cruising. But I had a wonderful time creating this, and I got so many compliments about my sweatshirt. You can see that I love to cruise. So I was glad to be able to make this, because a lot of the times the things that they have there can be rather expensive. So I was glad that I was able to make that for myself and have something to change up to and layer and be worn in. Now, this particular item, guys, this is what I bought when I went to Skagway. In Skagway, you saw me looking at these and I was holding up the pink one, but I actually bought this navy blue one. And I was so excited to get this because, again, we do not wear a lot of clothes in the Pacific Northwest. So I was excited to purchase this. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it. I love how you can drape it. You can drape one flap or you can drape both flaps and it gives you a different look. You can dress it up. You can dress it down with a pair of jeans and heels. I just love this, and it's wool with the little fur. It's going to keep me warm, and sometimes this is all I need. This and my gloves, of course. That's going to be all I need. I just love that. And remember my tip that I gave you, do not stop at the first place. Now, I was glad that when I looked at this item, when I purchased it in Skagway, the first shop that I went to, they had it on sale. I got it for that price. Now, I went to a couple of other shops and maybe it was the same price, but when I went to Juneau, it was the regular price. I didn't get a discount on it at all. Now, this particular cruise, I was looking for some more gloves, and I found the brown gloves that I was looking for with the mink like the black ones that I had before. So I found what I was looking for. Now, the first shop that I went to, the gloves were $300, okay? I went to another shop and I found them for considerably less than what I found at the first store. So that goes back to my tip about not shopping. Tip number 4, not stopping at the first place that you find what you're looking for. Keep looking. The last thing that I bought was actually on the cruise. They will do mini sales on the cruise ship. They happen to have had a perfume sale, and I went in and bought this perfume. Be honest with you, I can't even remember the name. I think it's Versace, but oh my gosh, it smells so good. I had to get it. And I felt like the price, I couldn't have beat that on fragrance.com. So I went ahead and bought that perfume. But anyway, guys, that was the wonderful time and the things that I bought on the cruise. I hope you enjoyed it.
Hi, guys. So it's still Memorial Day weekend and closing out the Alaska video. I just wanted to share when I got back home, I was planning to have just a little get together with a few friends, but I had to show you guys these plates, indoor-outdoor set that I just picked up from Walmart. I thought this was so cute. They have the plates, of course. They have the bowls. They have the serving bowl as well as a 2-dish server tray or plate. And then they had these little bowls as well. I'll just wash this stuff out yesterday. But I want to say, like, this bowl set, it was 2 in a set. One was plain, one had the floral in it. But I just thought that was so cute, and I didn't know the bowls were like that. When I picked up the plates, I just got the solid plates instead of the floral plates and I got the floral serving dishes. So I'm just setting up. I have my condiments are going to go here. I have some red onions already sliced. I have a pickled vegetable slaw as well as the little gherkin kosher pickles that are going to set out. That's just for the guests. Meat is in the oven warming up. I barbecued yesterday. Beef ribs, beef hot links, and spare ribs, also pork spare ribs. I made a lemon pound cake for dessert. I'm going to do a few chocolate chip cookies and bake those. I also did cabbage. And one of the ladies is supposed to bring potato salad. So we're going to have this a little get together. So I just wanted to show you guys that's what I'm doing when I got back from the cruise for Memorial Day. All right. And I'll see you guys a little bit later once I get everything set up, and I'll snap a pic of the display.
And so, guys, here is the result of our meal for Memorial Day. I had some wonderful time with friends, with good friends, and food. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day.